Thank you for being here today, and it's excited, first of all, to be back in Dallas, but I already miss California and miss that a lot of the big pluses for being out there. But we've got a real special announcement today, and it's principally because so much of what we're talking about has benefited youth across Texas. But just as important, we're talking about a relationship now that has gone for 30 years, and that's the Dallas Cowboys joining and being on the same team with the Lottery of Texas. And there's some amazing figures that have happened, amazing contributions to education, but it's such a great opportunity for us to touch in a unique way our fans across Texas. They're up to where there's 20,000 retail establishments that get to have our Cowboy lottery ticket. And this lottery ticket is a part that if you're not a winner of in the main lottery, you can go in this lottery. And on draft day, before we don't show every part of the board, but on draft day, before we're picking them, we have these lottery winners as an example. But there are many of prizes of those natures that go. And I even talked to the representatives many times about how to approach a retailer. And I say the first thing you want to do, no matter where you are in the state, is get out that sports page, you guys, and get that phone in front of you and sit there and show them something about the Cowboys. It's usually in there. And you give them that little way so that when they come up to the counter there, you can show them the lottery ticket holder, and you can basically say, this is what they're talking about the Cowboys today, and why don't you get in that draft room with a participation here. So it's an important thing. It's very rewarding. Makes you really proud to be a part of the Cowboys in sports. And I want to thank you, our media, because it's our visibility, it's the kind of interest we have in our fans that translates over to people being interested in the lottery, which helps our kids. So we do a lot of good in a lot of different ways, this thing called sports. So thank you very much. Gary Grief has absolutely been the face of the lottery for as long as for the entire time. I think 92 was when the lottery began in the state of Texas. And so he's just synonymous, but more important, I don't think I've met a public servant that's any more into the basic stuff that it takes to make something successful. Without a doubt, to my knowledge, there's no state, no area that has been more creative and worked any harder to create ways to have a very successul lottery. With no further ado, with that in mind, and after 30 years, it's great to welcome a teammate up here for 30 years. Gary, come up and tell us about where we are with our numbers, please.
All right. Thank you, Gary. Well, it's great to be here today, and I appreciate y'all taking time out of your day to hear from us about the Texas Lottery and the Dallas Cowboys. When you think about the Dallas Cowboys and you think about the Texas Lottery, that's really two of the greatest brands in the entire state of Texas. The partnership that we have with the Dallas Cowboys at the lottery is the most special business relationship that we have. And it's due to the affection and the loyalty that the fans have for the Cowboys and the Texas Lottery, not just during the season, but year-round. And that's what it takes to be successful. When the NFL 14 years ago allowed the NFL teams to reach out to the lotteries and start talking about partnering on ways that we could generate money for good causes, I don't think even Jerry or I could have dreamed at that time that by now we would have sold more than $434 million worth of Dallas Cowboys scratch-off tickets. We're approaching $500 million in scratch-off tickets. And those sales have translated into more than $88 million directly going to public education here in our state. In addition to that $88 million that's gone to public education, more than $21 million has gone to those 20,000 retailers that Jerry mentioned that sell our Dallas Cowboys scratch-off tickets all around the great state of Texas. And the players, our Dallas Cowboys scratch-off players, they have won more than $300 million in prizes since we started selling the Dallas Cowboys scratch-off ticket. This year, we have another great ticket. You can see it here. We've got some outstanding second chance experiential prizes like the Wild Weekend, which allows our winners to bring 19 of their closest friends to a Dallas Cowboys game and have first-class accommodations and sit in a suite. They love that. We've also got our VIP training camp experience, where a winner and one of their friends can come to training camp and actually watch training camp with a former player that's played for the Cowboys. We've got other great prizes. We've got season tickets, we've got autographed jerseys, and we've got Cowboys gift cards. And don't forget, you can also win $100,000 cash instantly if you scratch off a Dallas Cowboys ticket and you're that lucky winner. But the prize, Jerry hit on it, the prize that's become legendary is that draft day war room experience. We have heard from our winners over the years what an over-the-top, what an out-of-body experience they have had when they've been in that war room with Jerry and his team. He has personally made that day an unforgettable experience for our winners. He has taken the time to explain how the draft day works and what the next step is going to be. And these Cowboys fans and Texas Lottery fans have been thrilled beyond belief. In fact, all of those experiential prizes that I mentioned, what makes them so good is the way the Cowboys fulfill those prizes in a first-class manner that's above and beyond any other relationship that we have. Now, when we close our books for the year at the Texas Lottery, and it's just in a couple of days, it's at the end of August, we're going to set another record for sales this year. It might surprise you, this year alone, the Texas Lottery is going to sell more than $8.2 billion in lottery tickets in the state of Texas. And that will generate about $2 billion for public education in our state. Now, let's see. 14 years, we have set a new sales record, 14 years straight, and this will be our 14th. 14 years of partnership with the Dallas Cowboys organization. Is that a coincidence? Well, I'll let you guys figure that one out. And lest any of you think that you might miss out on the fun of playing the Dallas Cowboys scratch-off ticket this year, I've got a Cowboys scratch-off ticket for every one of you. We're going to hand out right now. You could win $100,000 cash instantly or a world of other prizes. So, Jerry, as a lifelong Cowboys fan and a devoted follower of all things Dallas, I would like nothing better than for us to win a Super Bowl this year. And I think we're off to a good start. But I would encourage everybody, support your Dallas Cowboys this season. And while you're at it, buy some Dallas Cowboys scratch-off tickets and support public education in Texas. Again, thank you for letting me be here. I love this relationship, and I think we're going to get some photographs now.
All right, we'll come down right here in front. There's 3 or 4 of those lottery tickets, clearances, and 2 or 3 others that I don't want to. They've been mean. Oh, you mark them off. What's the one too far?
Right there in front of the podium.
Use that 100,000 about 10 on this side.
Right here. There you go. Go ahead. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Why don't we lift it up a little bit? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There we go.
Calm down, please.
Good?
All right, okay.
Got it? Okay. Thanks, guys. All right. And Coach McCarthy will be right in.
I can get you.
Go Cowboys! Hi, David Moore, Dallas Morning News. A quick question and a follow-up. Tyler Smith and his ankle, can you update us on his situation?
Yeah, Tyler, he'll be with the rehab group, so he's working and getting better each day.
What is the follow-up be? What is his status as far as Friday night's game? And just overall, what do you think of the competition at left guard between him and Connor Montgomery?
I mean, we haven't rolled him out yet, so still working with. He'll be working with Britt. Yeah, and I think Connor's done some really good things. You know, Connor, took some snaps last night at center. You know, I'm going to try to get him some work potentially Friday night at center. So just he's been the third center, for us last year. So just trying to. Just hit all those different things, work on who your fourth quarterback is. And, those are the kinds of things that we've been talking about here as we get to the end of training camp.
You talked Clarence Hill, Four-Star Telegram. You talked a couple weeks ago in camp that there was come a time when you wanted to get your line together, to start a group together so they can get that chemistry and continuity. When do you get to that point?
Well, I mean, we're doing it in the practices. I mean, if you just watch the way we're repping them, everything's broken up by group. So, and the reality of it is, if you do the comparables from this year to last year, our reps in practice, particularly joint practice, is a lot higher than I've ever experienced. So I feel like we're hitting that target.
I guess as it relates to Tyler, and Connor. I know Connor's gotten snaps at center, gets snaps at fullback. Does that mean that you're looking at Tyler to be the starting left guard? Is that where we are?
I mean, those decisions aren't going to be made. I mean, it's Connor is. I would put, if we started today, Connor would play there. Left guard. Obviously, I mean, Tyler's coming on strong. He does a lot of good things. He's like the rest of our rookies. They need to play. I mean, they just need to play and keep getting better. And Connor definitely has value at other positions. Which I value a lot. I mean, I think he's a damn good fullback. I think if he lined up and played fullback, 10, 12 plays a game, I think he'd be recognized, for it. So we're looking at all those things because it's a long season, and we want to be able to get in and out of as many personnel groups as we can.
Michael Galvin, Dallas Morning News. If Connor was to start, would the situation be where Tyler would just rotate in for the MAC sub package and just kind of go back and forth? Would you be comfortable with that kind of movement on your offensive line?
Well, I mean, that's, we'll get there when we get there. Yeah, but I mean, it's, you got to play. I mean, there's a reason why you have 48 up. I mean, you want to use them all. I mean, especially, I don't think you take a rookie and just line them up as the starter either. That's why you have competition. That's why those two guys are competing for position. It's only going to make us better, at the left guard position. And then also you have different combinations. We have Connor's also done the big tackle for us, the tight end. So, I mean, the unbalanced, all those things are still viable.
John Machota, The Athletic. Where do you think Jalen Tolbert's at right now? And do you think he's ready for, a starting role week one?
I thought Jalen had probably his best practice last night. I thought he did a lot of good things. So, similar, answers to the question about Tyler. I mean, Jalen just needs to play. He needs to play a lot Friday night, and just keep improving. So, I mean, we haven't picked our 53 yet, and we definitely haven't put together the Tampa Bay game plan as far as exactly who's going to be playing where and how much.
Pat Tony, NBC5. Mike, can you just speak to the energy when you have the crowd practicing in Ford Center and just what comes with that? I know that there's crowds in Oxnard, but it's probably a little different when it's in that environment.
Well, I just want to compliment our fans, not only just for last night, but for in Los Angeles. I mean, that crowd at the Charge game was unbelievable. I mean, you would have thought that you were at AT&T. Just the number of fans we had at the game, and it just carried over last night. It's an incredible boost. Our GPS numbers were off the charts, and you got to give the fans some credit for that. We had great energy last night. If you take out some of the pre-snap penalties, it clearly, in my view, is our best practice of training camp. So there's a lot of good football on both sides.
Todd.
Todd Archer of the ESPN. Needed that introduction, I guess. With Jerry just kind of indicated that Gallup will open the air in the 53. What kind of, with his comeback from this knee injury, how do you manage all that when you have to put together how many receivers you keep, how many outside, inside, and all that stuff?
I mean, once again, we had a big personnel meeting, after the game this past week. We'll do the same, come Saturday and Sunday. You got to play this last game. There's young guys that are battling for spots, and how that 53 comes together. So obviously we don't want to take away Michael's opportunity to play as soon as possible, but how that comes down at the end, that's really to be determined.
Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. Back to McGovern, is that more about him position flexibility at center, or what you have behind Tyler?
No, I think it's just forecasting ahead. I mean, when you start making game plans, you have to have you carry 2 quarterbacks in a game, you got to have a third. You have a third quarterback, or vice versa. If you have four quarterbacks, if you have 3, so no different with center. I mean, you're going to have 8 guys up. You got to have a third center. So it's just make sure we're covered there. I mean, I feel great about Tyler Biadasz and what he's done, and really like the other young centers too. Alec Lindstrom's going to do some individual today, so hopefully he can work back in, see if he can maybe get some snaps Friday. So yeah, this is really just making sure we hit all the targets that that you always do set out for in training camp.
Mike Jory, Epstein, USA Today. You mentioned that you believe Jalen Tolbert had his best practice yesterday. What in your experience is the key for these young guys translating a practice like that to the game, preseason, or real? What's the key to doing it?
Well, stacking success. I mean, it's one thing to go out and do it once, and and that's the beauty of the competition in the National Football League, because anytime you have success, regardless of the position, the other side takes notice, and it's going to be harder for you to continue, to have that success. So, and that's what every player goes through. So, just his opportunity now to stack it, and it's going to be a quicker practice tonight. But I'd like to see him go out with the same intensity and be productive.
David Hellman, Fox Sports. In your experience doing this, is it more common or likely for a guy in the last preseason game to play his way onto the roster, or somebody play their way off of the roster?
Great question. I would say I don't view it that way, because I really don't, and I've worked with coaches that pick the team every day, starting first day of training camp, and I just don't do that. And the reason why I don't is because, pretty much the majority of the teams that I've been a head coach on are draft and develop rosters. So there is some variance, and you need to get past that second preseason game. You really do. I mean, I just look at the way our rookies practice today compared to 2 weeks ago. I mean, there's Sam Williams. I mean, there's a lot of guys have taken big jumps here. So, and especially today, you don't have the padded practice opportunities that you have. So, I'm trying to give you a real, like I always do, give you honest answers here. But I'm trying. I think that I would say off. For if you're keeping score, but I've never really, because I know this. There been too many times. My first year as a head coach, we went to the 53 with 50 players, including 3 guys. But other than that, I don't ever recall having the 53 being an easy decision. So it's always tough.
Mike, with Turpin and what he was able to do with the returns last night, is that almost a bad thing in some respects, because it's good for you guys, but teams now see that they can kick away from it?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, because it's not that he hasn't done it. He's obviously done it at TCU and did it last year. And if you watch USFL games, I mean, he was dynamic throughout the year. But yeah, I think would I like to have those 2 in week 1 of the regular season? Absolutely, it would have been nice. But I just think it's But the blocking unit needs just as much as they do. I mean, it's the first time that they've really had a chance to block for him. So, so you need that work. But yeah, I mean, it was exciting. But you can see the talent and his ability to really. I mean, he takes 2 steps and he's off and running full speed. So, he's going to get some more opportunities at receiver this week. So we want to give him an opportunity to keep growing in the receiver room, because obviously with the late addition, I think he's picked it up seamlessly. I've been very impressed with that, but we want to try to give him some more opportunities.
Christy Scales, Cowboys Radio. Could you speak specifically as to how Malik Davis is contributing on special teams and all aspects?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think if you look at that body type, the different positions that you're able to play on the 4 core, or it's on the punt team, which is, obviously we got a number of rookies that are really are vying, for starting roles on a punt team. That says a lot, I mean, we could have as many as 3 to 4 start, week one, which, I don't think I've ever seen that in my time. So, and Malik is definitely one of those guys. So he's has good coverage skills, and the fact that he can play wing, so I would definitely view him as a 4-core player.
Mike Jory, Epstein USA Today. There's a moment when we were in locker room last night when Dak called Sam Williams over to discuss something with him and Zeke, and I imagine not on every team the veteran quarterback and the rookie defensive end are having that rapport so early. Have you noticed that at all, and what does that say about those guys and the culture of the team?
Yeah, I would say it's unusual, from my experience, but yeah, I think it's important, and I think not only Dak recognizes that, but also I think it speaks to the connection that these guys have in the locker room. This is a very close-knit locker room. This rookie group, and just speaking, this is what I've been told from the veterans. They have come in here showing a lot of respect for the veterans, and you can see their connection growing, a little quicker than most years. So, and I think that's a byproduct of that.
Terrell Basham, what have you made of his play over the past couple weeks? You feel like he's come on a little bit?
I think he's probably had as consistent as a camp up in that front, particularly in the rushers. I mean, Bash is, very bright, very instinctive, has great understanding. I think really as a whole defensively, these guys are cranking. Their understanding is clearly way ahead of where we were this time last year, and Bash is one of those players.
That the defensive line group, that's going to be some tough decisions, I would assume, for you, more so than since you've been here.
Totally. I mean, you can keep them all. I mean, you can make it. You can go through there and, but you'd have 19 guys on offense if we keep. We have a lot of depth on defense, and even in the secondary too. So we have some very difficult decisions to make there.
Skyler Dixon with the AP. How complete is the picture for you all as a staff, that backup quarterback? Or maybe another way to ask it is, what else do you think you need to see Friday night?
Well, I just want to see the young guys play mostly. I think I feel good about where Cooper is. Cooper will play, but we haven't set it in stone number of reps. Like I'm going to get through tonight's practice, but yeah, Will looks to be okay, so he's going to practice again tonight. So I like to see as much as him as possible.
We'll finish with Todd.
Well, Let's Go was in Pat yesterday.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell if he did any team stuff. What's the ramp up
Yeah,
process?
did some team, so hopefully he can do more today. So we're not doing a whole lot of individual. We're going to jump pretty quickly into the team stuff. So yeah, we want to see him take a step, and hopefully we feel good after today, and he can play Friday.
Is that swing tackle job open? Well, I guess every job's open, but how do you view the swing tackle kids going into this?
I think Josh Ball he's growing each week. I mean, he's a great example of someone that just needs the reps. I think he's benefited not only from the joint practices, but the high quality of reps that he's had in the first 2 preseason games. AC's done a heck of a job too. So, those guys have been out there playing. That's why it's good to get Matt out there. But yeah, I mean, it's young guys that are growing.
Michael's job not open.
What's that?
He said every job's open. I said Michael's job not open.
Micah?
Yeah, his job's not open.
He did pretty good last night, didn't he?
Thank you.
All right, thank you.